When it comes to habits, I think we all have habits that are really good and healthy for us, and ones that are maybe not so much. At the end of the day, a good habit versus a bad habit really all boils down to behavior. When it came to my money, especially early on in my 20s, I had a lot of bad habits that were, and I didn't know it at the time, keeping me pretty broke. Even though I was making really good money in my career, I had a negative net worth and was living paycheck to paycheck, constantly worried about money, but also at the same time, spending it pretty freely. And it wasn't until I sat down and took a bird's eye view of my spending and of my net worth that I realized I was very much part of the problem. And a lot of it was due to my own bad habits and my own attitudes towards money. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about 5 bad money habits that were keeping me broke. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. My name's Christina. We talk all about mindful spending and mindful money on this channel because I used to be in $120,000 of student loan debt. I managed to pay that off in a total of 6 years by changing some of these bad money habits and by increasing my income. So if you want to see more videos like this, then don't forget to hit subscribe and give me a thumbs up while you're at it. It really helps me out for the whole YouTube algorithm thing, you know? Bad money habit number 1 was YOLO. I loved to justify all of my spending and a lot of my impulsive behaviors by YOLOing. You only live once. And FOMO, fear of missing out. YOLO and FOMO used to drive a lot of my spending. If we're gonna pick your poison in terms of my spending, I loved going shopping. I loved buying new clothes. I would shop when I was happy, I would shop when I was sad, and anytime an opportunity came up of like, hey, let's go on vacation, or let's go for dinner, or let's go for drinks, I would never stop to think about what that would mean in terms of how I was gonna pay for it, if I had the money, if I was already just barely going to pay off my credit card that month. I would never look and see if I could actually afford it. I would always just say yes and then worry about the bill later. And I'm not saying to not have fun and to be a little bit spontaneous and impulsive. I think that is really important and kind of what makes life worth living. But I would use YOLO and FOMO as almost an excuse and as a way to sort of avoid thinking responsibly or just slowing down that thinking at all to see if I could actually afford that spending. A lot of the times I just couldn't. And I would trade that instant gratification, that fun, for worrying about my finances and getting really upset with myself about it later. Nowadays, I still YOLO and I still have some FOMO, but now I have a real understanding of where my money is going. I budget every single month and I plan for my impulsive spending. I have a line in my budget that's called fun money, and that allows me to go out and have a spontaneous dinner or meet up with friends for drinks that wasn't planned, things like that. Because I spent so many years of my life living paycheck to paycheck and worrying about money, and then so many more trying to pay off my debt aggressively so I could break that cycle, I don't ever want to go back to that place again. So knowing exactly where my money is going and why really has helped me sort of gain control over spending that could easily get out of control again. Bad habit number 2 was I just picked it up mentality. Like I said, I was a full-blown shopaholic. I loved shopping, and shopping was one of the things I liked to do to spend time, probably because I didn't really have much else to do otherwise. I think you'll see in a lot of these bad habits, it all really boils back down to not having a plan and just really giving into impulses and instant gratification rather than keeping my future self and my future goals in mind. But my just picked it up mentality was a bad habit in terms of impulse buying and buying things just because they were on sale. And by saying that I just picked it up, it really would sort of minimize perhaps the amount of money that I spent on it. It would even minimize how important that item was to me or how much I really liked it. It was money that I barely thought about spending. I just did it. Nowadays, I don't really vibe with just picked it up because I like to really have a purpose for every dollar that I spend, unless it's in that fun money category. But either way, that money is planned for and I know where it's going, plus I know where it went. Even in the way it's said, it just doesn't seem like that thing was very valuable, very important, very useful. It was just sort of like, oh, I had the money to spend, why not? So when it comes to things that I buy, I really want it to be more intentional than that and to have more meaning. Bad habit number 3 was making light of being broke. I get it, it's important to have a sense of humor about these things, but I would laugh about it so much that I started to believe it. I wasn't taking it seriously. Like, I loved the meme, "Where did all my money go? It's either hanging in my closet or I ate it." We laugh, but a lot of it, for many of us, it's true. By making a joke out of it, especially with my debt, I was kind of allowing myself to fail before I even started. Because if I wasn't taking my financial situation seriously, then how could I take turning my financial situation around seriously too? So again, I think it's great to have a laugh. I think it's good to be lighthearted about these things because it can really sort of help you through, but make sure that you still take it seriously and really sort of understand what it means for your financial situation now and for your financial future. The moment I got serious about it was the moment that my life really started to change. My next bad money habit was never having a plan. Especially in my 20s and before I committed to getting out of debt, a lot of my thinking was very in the now. Even then though, I did have a lot of financial goals. I wanted to buy a house or buy a condo. I knew I eventually would need to get a new car. I drive a 2007.
Put it in H!
I had a lot of goals and visions of myself in the future, but did absolutely nothing to actually make it a reality. Because let's face it, a lot of what we envision for ourselves costs money. And for many years, I used to just sort of float along. I would continue living in the now, spending impulsively, just picking it up and YOLOing, while in the back of my mind still assuming that I would end up reaching that goal eventually. The truth of the matter is that you need to have a plan. With any long-term and even short-term goal, if you don't have a plan, you're probably not going to get there. As soon as I started making a plan, like for example, figuring out exactly how much money I had to pay off, doing things like writing down a debt-free date, and then figuring out how much money I need to pay each month to reach that debt-free date, those are all concrete, actionable steps that you can take to plan and reach that goal. And now that I am debt-free, I'm doing the same thing when it comes to saving and investing. I know exactly how much I invest every month. I know that I'm gonna probably have to buy a new car soon. I have a car fund going for that. I even have a fancy purse fund. The idea here is if you want something, you have to plan for it. And once you know you have your plan, you can take the steps to actually make it happen. I wanna thank the sponsor of today's video, Neo Financial. I think I've peaked in terms of Canadian financial YouTube. Getting the Neo sponsorship is like really cool. The Neo Money account is a savings account that I think is one of the best out there in Canada. You can do e-transfers, pay all your bills from there, and you can earn 1.45% interest on your money. And there's no monthly or annual fees. But for me right now, I really want to save up for a classic Chanel handbag. So I'm using my Neo Money account to save up for it. Neo also has their Neo card, which is a no-fee cashback MasterCard. The cashback rewards on this are really great. You can get an average of 5% cashback at Neo Partners, and they're even a partner at my favorite coffee shop, DeMello. So if you sign up for a new Neo Money account using my link and make a $50 deposit, both of us will get an extra $10. And if you sign up for the Neo card, you'll get a $50 deposit as a thank you. And you'll get your own referral link where you can make $50 if you refer other friends. Thank you to Neo for sponsoring this video. And if you're Canadian, I hope you'll check them out. Let's get back into the rest of it. And my last bad money habit actually didn't change until after I got out of debt, and that was not having a automated money system. When I was getting out of debt, I was like deep in my spreadsheet all the time. In many ways, that was a good thing because I was really aware of where my money was going and why it was going there, but I don't think that I needed to spend that much time micromanaging my finances like that. I didn't actually change this habit until after I got out of debt and I started building up my emergency fund savings and started investing. I really think you can set up your finances in an almost set it and forget it kind of way. You just have to put in a little bit of the work up front so that you know sort of how much you're bringing in and how much needs to go out. And that way you can just spend more time like living your life and you know that you're covered. I have everything sort of set up on a every 2-week system because that's how often I get paid. Some goes out into investments, some goes out into savings, some goes into my Neo account for my fancy bag fund, and a lot of my bills even get paid automatically. You still obviously have to make sure that you're checking things so that you're not overcharged, but for the most part, you can really set it and forget it, knowing that you're covered because you know how much you make, you know how much you need to spend on certain things, and you even know how much you can save. So it really just takes a lot of that like brain and effort out. And the thing about not automating my savings or investing was that, especially when I was spending all of my money, all of my disposable income, I wasn't saving anything. I was literally spending every penny of disposable income that I earned. And then by the time it came to having a savings, I would say that I didn't make enough money and I couldn't afford it. Okay. If I had just set up some automations up front, then even if I didn't address my debt and my shopping habits, at least I still would have been saving and investing a little bit, and doing some of that is better than none at all. So those are some of the bad money habits that were keeping me broke and how I fixed them. At the end of the day, I really do believe that when it comes to money, a lot of it is about behavior and about our habits. So I hope in sharing some of my bad habits that you can take a look and see where you can set up some better habits to reach your own financial goals. Let me know some of your bad money habits down in the comments and how you fix them. And if you like this video and you aren't subscribed yet, please do. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you in the next one. Bye. Also, thank you for the 100K. Oh my God, I want that plaque. It's gonna go like right here. Yeah.